Actually, I'm kind of glad this happened because, you know, a lot of these things happening to me, if I can show the young guys, you know, who have never had this experience, what to do or how to think it out and how to make it bend to my will, then, you know, maybe it'll save you a lot of time years, years from now. Now, let me show you something right here. What we have here is two pieces of metal, top and bottom. And you don't want to damage the bottom one or the top one. It's the lip of the fender up here. This is the bottom part is this thing here. It's like the valance. Now I can take a screwdriver and put between the two and tap it in there and open it up. So essentially what I'll be doing is I'm going to open up the two pieces of metal and force the top one against the bolt, the nut side of the bolt, and force the bottom one against the head side of the bolt. And if it'll be tight enough, hopefully I get on it with a socket and just let it draw right on out. Now that probably won't work, but it has worked in the past for other bolts. But this one is pretty rusty. I'm going to give it a try. Let's give it a shot. And if that doesn't work, then we will go to plan B. Alright, she's in place. Now I'll have to use both hands to do this, because if we get lucky and the bolt, I'll have to pull down on the screwdriver a little bit, not much, just a little bit. You see me pulling down on it here. You want to kind of keep pressure between the two, because as you unscrew that bolt, you know, you keep it pressure and it'll keep coming down. Hopefully the bolt will come right out. Anyway, that's the big plan. So keep your screwdriver in place with a very slight downward pull and pull it down a little bit further as the bolt comes out. If it does. So let me try it. Well, as expected, in this case, the screwdriver and trick didn't work at all. It is still going round and round. The bolt's just so rusty, it's pitiful. Well, now we have to go to plan B. Plan B is to put a larger blade, cutting blade, on my rotary tool. And we have three options now. Let me park this up here temporarily. We have three options to use this thing with. We can cut the head off at the bottom, we can cut the top off up there, or we can cut right in the middle. I think there's enough space in the middle that I can fit the blade in there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut it right in the middle between the two pieces of metal. And hopefully we'll hit the bolt, shear it right off. That way the top and bottom will just fall right on the floor, I hope. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it's been a fight all the way. It's kind of loose. Let me see if I can wiggle it here. We've got it pretty much loose. There's a pretty good space between the two, but boy, she just does not want to cooperate. I'm just gonna keep at her. Well, no luck so far. Now, I've tried everything. You know, the motor tool didn't work, chisel didn't work, the screwdriver didn't work, and this thing actually thinks it has me beat. Yeah, right. All right, Bolt. Prepare to meet thy doom. It had to bend to my will. The hard way. Well, I just went inside, had me a full bottle of water. Boy, it's pretty warm in this garage here, not like it used to be. I'm keeping it at about, let me see, what is the temperature right now? It's about, I got it at 77 degrees. That's good, I can live with that. All right, what is our next little issue? We can't still take this thing down. We still got one more thing to do. This is never an end of one more things, is there? That screw is messed up. If I can get this light to stay there where you can see what I'm talking about. It's attached to a brace. It's attached to a brace, that white brace right there. I can get my finger in the camera right there. There we go. When I try to unscrew it, see how the brace is turning? Can't have that. Can't have that. So what are we going to do? Well, there's only one thing we can do. Let me show you what it is first. That thing that the bolt's going through is one of these. It's a little bit different shape, of course, but the bolt goes through it. And what I'm going to have to do, we have to figure out a way to keep that thing from moving and tight. And that way it won't swing on around and hit that brace. So a pair of vice grips should do it. What I'm going to do, I hope, I'll get this over here. The idea is to get a hold of it like that with the vice grips and clamp it tight. And then I can go ahead and work the head of the bolt from the other side with the ratchet. This will not turn, it will not swing around and hit that brace. Should work. I have a really good tight clamp on that thing like I showed you at the table over there. And what I'll do is I'll hold the vice grips with one hand and work the ratchet with the other. Let's see if it'll come out. Well, that works perfectly, and there's no damage at all to that little brace up there. It's still a little rusty on one end, but it's still nice and straight, unbent, perfect. All it takes is a little skull braining. Our last two bolts are these, no problem. I've already got them loosened up. They were loose right when we first started. They were the first two I loosened up. And once I get this baby off, I am going to the house. I'm calling it a day. And then tomorrow, I'll work on the other one, which I'm sure will have the exact same problems this one had. So this has been just practice for the other one. Well, that's it, ladies and germs. What took you just a few minutes to watch was actually a 3.5-hour ordeal for me. But I didn't want to rush it. I want to take my time, try to figure out how to do everything with no damage at all, if possible, to any of the parts. This thing will have to be, this is again stainless steel. But you know, stainless steel I've worked with a long time ago, a lot of stainless steel on the old 57 Chevy. I mean, yeah, the 57 Chevy. And there was a lot of that stuff on the 57 and 58 Plymouths. The 58 Chevys, where I shined it up and got it all working well, you know, buffing wheel and all that stuff, compound, it'll shine up like a mirror. But of course, again, there's a lot of dents to be taken out along the edges and everything. This was on the, this looks like a replacement. If it was in that accident with that fender, it should not be in that kind of shape. It's pretty good shape, really. Okay, that's it for today. I am bushed. I am going in and watch a few episodes of Stargate Atlantis. You know, there were 100 episodes of that series, and I probably only watched about 40, so I got a lot of time to be watching those things. I really like Stargate Atlantis. Well, unfortunately, John up in Vermilion was unable to locate a set of these bumper guards for a 66 Thunderbird. All of his 66s have been sold. He had a few bumpers laying around, but there were no new ones or used ones in his parts trailers, unfortunately for me. So I've already emptied the vinegar vat, cleaned it all out, but I didn't want to really refill the whole thing with, you know, gallon after gallon after gallon, you know, 5-6 gallons of vinegar and let it sit here, because I'm down to the wire on rust removal. I don't have a whole lot to do, but I wanted to have something around in case I ever needed it, but I didn't want to keep a whole tub of vinegar. So I decided to buy a 3.5 gallon container of Evapo-Rust. We are going to rebuild these bumper guards. Yes, we are. That's right. I'm not going to take no for an answer. So, see, they'll fit right down in that baby. Just what I wanted. We're going to let this thing sit down there for 2 full days. Now these bolts that held the bumper on, mine are in really bad shape. So there we go. That goes there. This one will go. Now, I did receive an email from George H. up in Michigan. He still thinks he's George B., by the way. Anyway, he said that he built new ones. That he had the same problem I did. He made new ones. Now here we have what George H. jumped up and claimed credit for doing. But I think it was his wifey, Carol, that did this. She bent, you know, a couple of bands like this, I think. I don't think these are the original bands. And then she welded a nut on top. It was cut for a nice wide base. That looks like she cut it just about right. We are in Count Porcula, and we're going to make sure they eat hearty today. Last but not least, I talked to my buddy John up there in Vermilion, and I told him I wanted to buy a second 4100 carburetor, because I really just don't trust that Franken carburetor I got in there. He said sure, and he gave me a very good price on one. I went ahead and bought it. He sent it to me. We're going to cover more on this at a later date. So until next time, this is John.